Okay. So we can go ahead and jump in. You can go to the next slide. So what we're going to do in this class, we're going to figure out your why. Now, I'm not talking about your big why of why you're doing real estate. I'm talking about why are you doing video marketing? And we're really going to allow that to drive what you're doing. And by the way, you know the why of your video marketing program. It actually makes it fun. How many of you in the past have done videos for any platform and you actually found that you were having fun while you did it? Show of hands. Anyone have had fun, or put it in your chat? Okay. So when we figure out the end goal of why you're having video marketing, what its purpose will be, how you'll use it on a broad scale to market to unmets, how you'll use it to reinforce the existing relationships you have, and then even how you'll use it one-on-one, oftentimes like with a particular person, it's going to make what you're doing much more fun. And you will find yourself resisting it less and actually wanting to do it more, to the point where, remember, this doesn't replace your regular lead generation or lead follow-up, because sometimes it becomes so fun and it's all that you want to do. So we can't even have that happen. We are also going to identify your audience. As I mentioned, we're going to use this to expand your number of mets by broad appeal to unmets. We are going to talk about your intro and your hook. That is still very important, particularly on YouTube. And then we're also going to talk about the algorithm. Okay. You can go ahead and go to the next one. There's Aaron's email there. If you have any particular questions, the emthink331@gmail.com. That's Aaron's direct email. And you can email questions to her if you don't want to bring it up here on this open forum. So what is your why? Why do you want a channel, and what are you hoping to accomplish? I'd actually like for you guys to, if anyone would like to share your objective with either having a stronger YouTube channel or your video marketing overall. Why? What are you looking to accomplish? What a few people like to share that.
So I think for me, a big motivation for me is being military, active duty military, showing that you're able to do both. And there's a way to, there's other options outside the military, and you can build up your own business. And then also, the wealth building aspects and all that stuff. So as much value as I can provide to the military community, and then other people that might be in a job themselves.
And when you say wealth building, do you mean in terms of you creating a passive income stream off of YouTube, or meeting other people that want to invest in real estate to build wealth? I think you got a call coming in. Because you muted up there. But actually, either one of those would work. So I see that some people put in the chat that they want to increase mind share, which is excellent. You want to lead generation, being independent, informant for the area, and getting the name out. Increase awareness of home ownership, investment opportunities, and careers in real estate. Yes, those are all good as well. Anyone want to share any other reason why you may want a channel and what you want to accomplish with it? Passive income and lead gen. So it does sound like at least a few of you on here want to potentially have a channel that's monetized. Whether it's a small amount or not, it would still be a small stream of income. I want to show that I'm relevant and stay in front of the market and my knowledge, lead generation, and be more educational based. Felicia, what would you like to add? Do you have your hand raised, Felicia? Oh, I think you're breaking up.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I'll text you.
Okay. All right. So this is, and by the way, there's no right or wrong answer here. All of these are valid answers. How many of you happened to participate in the first launch of this class in the fall 18 months ago? if you were in that class, there are people that were in that class who have achieved all of these things, and even a little bit more. So all of those are valid and you can do them. There are people whose channel is now monetized. There are people that have gotten luxury listings that led to more business. There's people that have just increased their name recognition, their mind share. And that someone had said being that knowledgeable informant of their market, yes, it's turned. Some people are getting more calls where they are that resource for people. So Felicia says, I'm close to monetizing on TikTok and looking to grow YouTube the same way. Right. So Ruby, could you share with everyone the benchmarks of being monetized on YouTube?
Yeah, for monetization on YouTube, it basically need your channel to be having like a 10,000 subscribers or 10,000 watch views, and then having the importance of having a content being watched like a watch time higher than 100 or such. And then yeah, basically most people that are successful in the analytics in monetization in YouTube is producing more of the quality of your content. And then it doesn't matter if you wanted to be shorter than 5 minutes, 3 minutes, or you're going for shorts, as long as you will be having that number of required number of subscriber and watch time.
Right. Now, did I hear you say 10,000 subscribers? Because I believe the first benchmark is 1,000.
From the last time that I checked, it's going to 10,000 because a lot of more people is doing YouTube right now. You can even monetize in Instagram for reels. Also in TikTok, you can monetize your videos right now. Everything is being monetized doing video marketing. So since YouTube is the main platform for videos, they are like upscaling their requirements in doing that.
Right. Okay. So we'll confirm that and share that next
Yes.
week as well. All right. So go ahead and you can move to the next slide. All right. So in this we went through. So essentially the main core pieces is you're going to be getting leads. And that's one of the most important aspects of having the channel. Passive income, if you wanted to have either affiliate programs, get your channel monetized, and education for your clients. So you can have, you can have a library of videos that would also be educational for either clients or leads. All right, so go ahead and hit the next slide. Why are we going to talk about YouTube primarily? 74% of adults in the US use YouTube regularly. That is a pretty significant number. How many of you would consider yourself significant YouTube users? No, I am. How many of you are on YouTube every day? How many of you would say that YouTube is actually your primary social media platform? Definitely big. When they look at the demographics as well, I mean, think about it, 74% of adults, we're already talking about a huge chunk of people. But the demographics also skew in favor of the target market that most of you have and who you want to get in front of. There's over 1 billion hours viewed every day, and about 500 hours are uploaded every minute. Who are you trying to reach? So we're going to talk about that. So Dylan, I'm really glad you brought up the military, the niche. When you have a niche, any of you that have horse properties, any of you that are water oriented, you already have a built-in step advantage against a more traditional broad-based agent, because when you have a niche, you already have a built-in audience in YouTube that you can tap into fairly easily in terms of getting the algorithm to recognize you. But this is why this is significant. And I noticed a few people in there said they don't like YouTube, they don't use it. And you're doing it just because of business, you're in the minority. It is it's become almost ubiquitous. Frankly, how many of you, other than me, watch YouTube rather than television?
Oh yeah.
I'm definitely in that. Yeah, so there's several of us. We are not unicorns. And knowing Dylan and Jennifer Martin and myself, we are probably in the target demographic that you would like to reach. So that's why we're going to spend a lot of time talking about YouTube in particular. But just know that most of these things can either be adapted to the other platforms, or even if I say YouTube, I'm talking about your overall video marketing concept. And even if you're using other platforms, a lot of times YouTube is where you're going to house your main media, and it's going to branch out from there. We'll get into more later. All right, go ahead. Next slide. All right, so just a little bit deeper breakdown into the demographics of the viewers. 77% are 15 to 35-year-old. Do you think there's any first-time homebuyers in there? Probably. 73% are 36 to 45, 70% 46 to 55, 56% are male, 44% female. It's a lot of diversity. So we're just again stating the obvious. This is where people are that live in homes and want to buy houses or sell houses. All right, so go ahead and click through. The numbers, by the way, are smaller in the older generations. However, they are also growing. So with this, it's envision your audience and make a plan to hit that audience. So, and I don't expect you all to be able to listen to this and then miraculously have this figured out within 5 minutes. But you want to really think of the target audience. Someone mentioned that they want to target move-up buyers in a certain area. So when you're thinking about the content that you're going to make, you want to imagine as much as possible that content be appealing to move-up buyers that either currently own and want to sell and move up, or that are renting because they didn't want to buy what they can afford. And you want to capture them now that they can afford to buy that move up property that they want as their first home. So you would think about that and you'd say like, all right, well, what's going to be appealing to them? Where are they typically hanging out? What are their current activities in my area? And then you're going to customize the local businesses you feature, the activities in your area and lifestyle that you feature, and attempt to match content you're making to what would be appealing for that target group. Dylan, you're a more obvious example. If you're looking for active military, again, you're going to do the same thing. You'll try to figure out what are the feeder bases that transfer into the base near you. And you're going to look at that data and you're going to figure out what's most appealing to predominantly the spouses that are handling the bulk of the moving. And then you're going to try to target that audience with everything you create. Now, one of the things I want to mention here, in these first 100 days, you are literally talking to robots. The two largest search engines in the world are what? Who knows the two largest search engines in the world? Google and
is it Google and YouTube?
It's Google and YouTube, right? Those, just imagine that those are two giant robots. And in these 100 days, you've got to feed those robots just so those robots know, acknowledge, and like you. So you want to be more concerned about, you're still concerned about customizing your location. So like, if you're in Dallas, Fort Worth, you want to be known for that location. You want to start adding in your niche, but really it's more about the consistency, getting it out there, and you're feeding that robot so the robot will know you, like you, and trust you. Okay, so why do I bring that up right now? It's more important to get content out in the first 100 days than to have it be perfect. So if you wake up one day and you're like, I don't know what the hell move up buyers are doing. They're making me nuts. Maybe one of them upset you the day before. Doesn't matter, make a video about your area, get it up. The consistency is more critical than making sure that you're exactly targeting your market at this stage of your development, whether you're launching or relaunching. All right, we can go to the next one. All right, so mission statement and course of action. And I think this is a great exercise for you guys to do this week. So, I know that you've got your MVP, you've got your taglines and your credo for your whole team or your sales approach. This would be making a mission statement, particularly about your video marketing and your course of action. So think about if you have your audience identified, think about how often you're going to post, like we were talking about. And then think about having that mission statement and developing a course of action. It's just going to give you some direction on what you're doing as you encounter this. You're going to have fewer days where you don't know what to do if you've outlined a mission statement and a course of action for these next 100 days. So I do recommend this. I would love it if you guys connect with each other and share with each other what your mission statement and course of action is for your video marketing. And next week, I'd like to start off in the first 5 minutes. I'd like a few people to share mission statement and course of action they've come up for themselves with their video marketing. Okay. All right, go ahead and hit the next one. All right, looking to the competition. So we all have heard of R&D, right? Everyone know what R&D is?
Rip off and duplicate.
Very good. Okay. So, count your competition. And this is something I'd recommend time blocking, not during lead generation time, especially those of you that are not already YouTube users. You want to go ahead and look at the competition, both look at the competition in your marketplace, but also look at competition that's just doing well overall. One of the standout names, and I'm going to type his name in the chat, in terms of getting actual leads that have closed from YouTube on a consistent basis, is Ken Posick. Has anyone seen Ken's channel? Another one is J10O. Another one is Shiaki Yamada. And every week I'm going to give you some, and that's 10 homes, sorry. I'm going to give you some links to channels that you can subscribe to and look at. Or I'll take one of these and I'll pick out a particular video and say, check out this video and what do you think is compelling about it. What I would say in terms of checking out the competition, I'm assuming that the majority of you are here because you would like to have more real estate sales, correct? So a quick little check is, even if someone has a great YouTube channel, I'd take a quick minute and just look to see if they also have some production. Now, am I saying to do that the whole time? Everyone you look at do their production? No, but if you look at someone's channel and you're like, wow, I love this. I think I'm going to structure myself in some ways similar to this one. Then you would go ahead and take a minute and say, let me make sure this person is production. Okay. But the ones I just gave you to check are they're all incredibly successful agents. So go on there and check them out. The one last thought on that. Take note of ones that are unappealing to you as well. And take note of why they're unappealing. And if you find a channel that seems to have a lot of subscribers and a lot of views, and it's about real estate, and you find it unappealing, I'd like for you to email that to me so that I can look at it and we can say, okay, so what about it didn't appeal to you? Is there still anything we should take from it? Because sometimes the thing that's unappealing to you may actually be what makes it appealing to the general public. So pay attention to stuff that you don't like as well. Okay. All right. Let's take the next one. All right, so start with a title, a thumbnail, and an intro. And there's a little typo there. So obviously that's intro. So a couple things, and I'm going to talk about intro first. If we were having this class even 2 years ago, I would be recommending like, hey guys, put together a little intro screen and maybe even a little music that you play right at the beginning. We are no longer in that universe. What has happened now is those of you that use YouTube a lot, you're going to know what I'm talking about right away. As you hover your mouse over a thumbnail now, it actually starts the video. It starts with whatever you say first in your video. So let's think about that for a minute. Do you want to say the same thing at the beginning of every video? If that's going to be the hook to get people to click on it because they want to hear more. No, you're going to want to say something engaging. Do they care who you are? Correct. No, they don't care who you are. They don't give a rat's ass. Okay. So none of this stuff, none of this. Welcome back to my channel. It's Bridget Stuart with Keller Williams Realty in Folsom, California. Even though I live in Arizona, no one cares. They're not doing, they're not going to click on that. So you want to, in the first 10, 30 seconds, you want to start delivering whatever you put in your engagement factor. So I'll give you an example. Oh my gosh, today we're going to talk about 5 mistakes sellers make when they put their home on the market. Let's jump straight in. Does that have a chance of getting someone to be like, oh, I want to hear what that is? And then they click. Okay. So you've got to really put more time and thought into your intro and your hook. I'm going to share one little thing that this is not non-real estate. Some channels that I watch religiously, they no longer have a little intro. They actually have something at the end. So at the very end, they have a signature at the end of the video. So you're going to really want to, this is one of the most critical things to think about right off the bat. They don't care who you are. They don't really care where you are. In fact, they already kind of have an idea of where you are because of your the way that you have branded yourself or your algorithm. So don't worry about where you are. You want to get straight into the meat of what you're going to cover. And you want to make it high energy. No one wants this either. Today, I'm going to talk about people that are, listing their home for sale and things. No one wants that. No, literally no one's going to watch that. You might get a few people that watch it thinking that it's a parody or satire. I actually watch a bass player who has a pretty deadpan delivery, but it's very funny. But we're not in that realm. You're not going to be Stephen Wright, the deadpan comedian realtor, and create any type of engagement. So high energy, you got to have a smile. We'll get into this more. You want your face in it. Humans love humans and they're looking for human faces. And you want that high energy hook and intro. Thumbnails, even 18 months ago, and even a year ago, thumbnails were critical. They're still important. They're important in a different way. It is still running that thumbnails with a human face in the thumbnail get the highest level of engagement. So you still want to consider having stills and faces that are in that static thumbnail before someone hovers over it. When they hover over it, they're going to start seeing motion in the beginning of the video. We're going to go into what will give you an engaging thumbnail and what will not as we go deeper into the class. And then think of a title. You can have now, and by the way, the name of your channel itself used to be important. That has fallen off in importance as well. The title of your video is still pretty important. And you want to make sure that keywords are in your title. So I don't want to get too far ahead of things, but you guys know what I'm talking about. You don't want to be clickbait. By the way, what is clickbait? That is something that's like highly engaging and it's almost inflammatory, where people will click on it. The real definition of clickbait is they click on that and then the video doesn't deliver what was promised in that title. So, but you want it to be catchy enough that people are like, oh, what's that? So we are going to go over the key elements of what will give you a catchy title. I think most of you, unless you live under a rock or landed from Mars yesterday, you know, numbers are big, lists are big, questions are big, versus is big. But we're going to go into what you can do, and you're going to want keywords in your title. It's prime real estate. All right, so go ahead and move forward. So content is king. So in creating and planning your content, think about how you want to add value for the viewer. So by the way, you're not making content for yourself. So you want it to be geared towards the audience. So what do I mean by that? I don't care if you don't like hiking and you hope to never put your foot on a dirt trail again in your lifetime on Earth. If you're in an area that's known for massive hiking trails, you're going to do videos about hiking, right? So like, just know that content, we're going to want to make it as often as possible something you're passionate about and you enjoy. So then your natural energy will come through. You've got to gear it towards the lifestyle of what it means to be known in your area and what it's like to actually live there. So if you're a hermit that stays home, doesn't go to restaurants, and never likes to go out, A, probably don't enjoy real estate. B, you're going to be making videos that are for the audience and not for yourself. I think it's a little early, but if you want to this week, you could sit down and brainstorm what are key things about living in your area. You know, I'm looking at some of you in places where you live, and there's certain things that pop to mind right away, even just looking at you. Are there wineries in the area? Is there a huge military presence? Are there air shows? Are there beaches? Is there skiing? Is there what? So start thinking about what is that? What are the lifestyle factors that set your area of living apart from others? And that's going to be a great place to start making a content list for yourself. And remember, it's not just what you like to do. I'm going to add one other thought there. Let's say there's something you love to do. Many of you know I love karaoke. If you love karaoke, great. Make one of your content things top 10 karaoke bars in the greater Los Angeles area. That's fine. So start with one of your passions, but do know that you're going to have to dive into content that may not be something you're a fan of, but is going to create engagement for sellers and buyers in your area. Okay. So go ahead and I think I covered this next one. So this, and you're all going to get a copy of this. It's already in the chat. But the autoplay feature has changed the game in terms of that intro. So you do not want an opening sequence. You don't want to say, you don't want to do this. I'm going to come from Ebony Dawkins. We're going to talk about 5 mistakes sellers make in the Tidewater area when they're listing their home for sale. Stay tuned. And then you have some video graphics and a swirly design and a logo and your photo montage. No, don't do it. Okay, just don't do it. If you have one, don't use it. Okay, it's literally where that used to make people seem professional and real. YouTube consumers have moved past it. Someone earlier said they're annoying. They are annoying, especially if you binge watch. We want people to binge watch you. So if you jump in and you know someone has an intro, are you going to watch from the beginning or are you going to jump to 1 minute in? You're going to jump to 1 minute in. And what's that going to do to your algorithms and your watch time? It's going to go down. So if anyone is sitting there very proud of their beautiful intro they made 18 months ago, and you want to talk about it further, send me an email because it will actually hurt you. If you want to, put it at the end. Actually, there's algorithm juice for having people stay till the very last minute of your video, so we may not even want to use it then. And yeah, let's go ahead, guys, especially with my voice not being strong today. If you're not talking, just go ahead and mute yourself.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
Or you can mute the people that.
It's already signed.
Okay, you made the statement.
All right, so go ahead and we can move past this, but this is mission critical at this stage. That's why we're stressing it today. So creating that hook. So think about a problem that your target audience is facing. What are things they would be looking for? I do want you guys, you can type in the chat. What are a couple of major issues and problems that sellers and buyers are facing right now?
Lack of inventory,
Lack of inventory. What else?
high interest rate,
High interest rates. What else? Overall fear. Where will they go if they sell? I don't know what DPA is. Down payment assistance. Okay. Yep. Took me a second. What else? There's a big one. A lot of people are facing seniors and senior options, both themselves and for aging parents. Another major issue is people that want to move, but they're sitting on a really low interest rate, so they feel like it would be a mistake to move. What about whether or not they should do work to their home before they list their home for sale? Will they even qualify with the higher interest rates? So if you make, and this is actually another great way to create content, there's that lifestyle approach that we discussed. Then you can make a list of what are the objections that you're hearing now. I'm just going to wait. How many people have said, I'm just going to wait till fill in the blank? Inventory is higher, prices come down, interest rates go down. So if you make that list of all the issues and problems that both buyers and sellers are facing, then you will instantly have a list of topics to put in your intro and to make videos about. Okay. And this last one, state an unpopular opinion. It certainly, it works on me if you say something unpopular. So your hook, your title could be something like, you know what? Don't buy a house, keep renting. Right? That, are you going? Obviously, in that video, you would almost tongue-in-cheek style. At the end of the video, people would realize that they should go ahead and buy. Right. But you can use that unpopular opinion to create interest of like, wow, an agent is saying that you shouldn't buy right now. That doesn't make sense. You can also do that in your area. So let's say you live in West LA. Santa Monica is actually declared as an urban forest. So you could say like a forest in Santa Monica, ? Like that's going to create people are like, what the hell is she talking about? And then you can talk about something the city is actually really proud of that not a lot of people know. Right. So use unpopular opinions, or that's where you're getting a little bit of shock value. The one thing is when you have shock value, you've got to deliver. If you have shock value and then your video is all about you being an agent, how great you are and blah, 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 people will bounce out of that faster than a popcorn kernel and hot oil. They'll just be out. Okay. All right. And this is something that throughout this entire class, we're going to go over. These are some of the most critical ways to actually get an audience that will come back to you and possibly binge watch your playlist and reach out to you. So we will be discussing this a lot. And if you have trouble with it, make sure you let me know. All right, we can go to the next one. I think we kind of went through. So here's a couple of other examples. Is now a good time to invest? 5 ways to overcome that fear. Oh my God, do you need 20% down to buy a home? And then do the down payment assistance for buying or nothing. Ever wonder what it's like living in $1 million property, golf course property, waterfront property, downtown condo penthouse? Just fill in the blank with what is it like to live in a particular type of home. By the way, when you have new listings, if it has any element of something that's interesting, that's a way more engaging home tour, quote unquote, than the traditional property tour. Top 5 mistakes first-time homebuyers make. 5 mistakes sellers make. 5 ways to improve your chance of getting the home, your offer accepted. And then notice to stay till the end for a bonus tip. So again, algorithm's gonna reward people not only click on your content, but they stay for the whole thing. So when you can create an entry of like, guess what? I saved the best for last. You may have people that even if they start to waver like minute 2 or 3, they'll go ahead and stay till minute 4 because you promised the best for last. Just make sure it's good. I've had that happen myself a couple times. I'm like, really? You thought that was the best? That was the stupidest thing I've heard. And then I bounce out and you're not gonna get engagement that way. All right, go ahead to the next one. Talking to the camera, okay. So remember, everyone does it. So think about newscasters. Which by the way, I haven't watched the news since like, I don't even know, 2004. But they stare at the camera. The reporters look at the camera. They're not an angry view. All right, our top stories tonight. Rape, pillage, and murder in downtown. Over to you, Tony. They don't do that. They're looking at the camera. So you want to make sure that you're looking at the camera as you're creating your content. Now, are you looking at it the whole time? No. You want to be looking at it for your intro, and you want to be looking at it at the very end. And what do I mean by that is like, let's say that you're going to have B-roll, or if you're highlighting best restaurants, you're going to show the restaurant. If you're talking to someone, you might say, oh my gosh, I can't wait to introduce you to the owner of this florist shop. Hi, Betty. So I'm not saying don't be like Robotron, like I only look at the camera, but for the most part, you want to orient yourself and speak to the camera. And then as I'm doing right now, I'm looking at my screen and then looking at the Zoom camera. You want to make sure that as much as possible, your screen, if you're going to have notes and a teleprompter, that it's right in alignment with your camera. So if you're recording on your laptop, that would be fairly easy to do. Most of you are going to be recording on your phones. So you want to make sure the position of your ring microphone is right in alignment where your teleprompter is. It's going to appear as if you're just looking at the camera, even though you can see the teleprompter. Does that take practice? Yes. Will you get good at it? Absolutely.
I have a quick question. The
Yes.
phone should be horizontal or vertical?
So for your regular video content, you always want it to be horizontal. And when you get that raw footage that's horizontal, then you're going to be able to take that footage and your editor will be able to slice and dice it for the other platforms it would go to, because there's different aspect ratios and layout for TikTok or Instagram or Facebook. So that's going to give you the most usable footage. When you're doing a short, it will typically be vertical.
So mostly horizontal.
Yeah, horizontal is going to give you the best.
Okay.
Someone put in the chat fiber for editing. That certainly works well. As you really get this up and running, I'm going to introduce you next week to an option where you get unlimited video editing up to 30 minutes per video each month. There's other things we'll go into. Please make sure CapCut is amazing. There's a couple of really good apps. We're going to be going over that as well, where you can literally get your footage on your camera, on your phone, and then you can use the apps within your phone and you can edit a lot of it yourself and look really great. So we're going to go into all of those tools. I believe actually that's part of what we're going to next week. So this week, I wanted you to get your mindset right. We all know from everything we do in real estate, mindset is so critical. And I wanted that bigger picture so you can actually know like what you're doing. And then literally starting next week, it's going to be very brass tacks, like here's some options. By the way, this is also interactive. So is Felicia through CapCut in there. When you guys are using something great that works, please share it and bring it to the meeting. Okay. You want to pretend you're talking to your friends. So you want to, some of the, there are some regular YouTube channels that I watch nearly every day. and they talk, it's as if they're in my living room talking to me. If I ran into the mountain town, I would feel like I know them. They couldn't be with us today, but the Bright team, they've had buyer leads come over their YouTube channel and they talk to them as if they know them from the very first communication. Because they've watched and binge watched so many of their videos. They feel like they know them. So when you're talking, you want to act just like you're talking to one of your best friends. One of my clients that struggled with this actually took a picture of their best friend and stuck it right on underneath their phone. So they would just remember, like, I'm just talking to Daniela. And that way they had that natural sound. So you are not, you want to be relatable and natural. You're not creating a training video that's going to be sent out to all of IBM. And it doesn't have to be this polished professional that will actually decrease your engagement factor. You want your personality and your energy to come through. So this next one, I'm going to say it and then I'm going to contradict it. So you want to practice. You want to really practice. But with every video that you shoot, you'll be getting practice. This is like being at the driving range at a golf course. For hitting that ball every time, even if it's one of those ranges with the net. So the ball may not be going all the way, but you get better every time you do it. And what I'm going to share with you is you want to, in your affirmations every day, you want, I call this one take Charlie. And because I just pride myself, I say, like, it's incredible when I just am hitting record, I literally get it in one take and I'm done. Does that happen every time? No. Does it happen a lot? Yes. Because I have set the expectation in my mind that I am going to get it in one take. So you want to practice. I think the absolute best practice is making yourself do a high number of videos in a short time frame to feed that algorithm, because you'll get better each time you do it. And remember, your editors and even your editing software, if you choose to use one on your phone, they're remarkable. What they can do now is remarkable. So literally, if you're in a groove and you mess up, just pause and then start at the beginning of the sentence again. They can just chop it out and doctor it up and keep going. All right, go ahead. Next one. Okay. This is where we're going to get nerdy. I already talked about your job in these first 100 days is to stimulate the algorithm. So we've all heard that posting every day will stimulate the algorithm. But it's also true that if you just post consistently over an extended period of time, it will be also effective. I would say also effective instead of just as effective. Some of the highest performing, fastest growing channels still post every day. A couple of examples of that outside of real estate. Charlotte Dobre is a great example. Theywillkillyou.com, great example. Disney Food Channel, I don't know if they're every day, they're awfully close. And those are just some that I know they're outside of real estate, but they will consistently show up in the algorithm and they consistently get put in front of people that are not aware of them yet. How do I know this? One of the things I do when I'm watching videos is I scan through the comments, and on all those channels I just mentioned. And if you go in the comments on almost any video, it will say, I don't know why YouTube put me in front of me, but I'm glad they did. Your video's great, right? So it knows that anecdotal. It's anecdotal. It's also backed by data and research you can look into posting. So you want to start thinking about being consistent and knowing what you can post and then matching, setting that goal and then do that every time for the next 100 days. By the way, there are very successful YouTube channels. Most of them are many years established where they post like twice a month now. they already have millions of subscribers. So when your subscriber count is up in the hundreds of thousands and your view hours are at a really substantial level, then you can back off and you're still going to get that bang for the buck with each video. No one I coach is at that point yet. I have some people getting business off of it and none of them are there yet. Okay. Do you all understand this? Does anyone have any questions about it when I'm talking about the algorithm?
For us that have a Google page, should we try to upload all those videos into our Google page as well, or it doesn't matter?
So guess who owns YouTube?
I'm sorry?
Guess who owns YouTube?
Oh, oh. Silly me.
Yeah, so actually just posting on YouTube is gonna be fine for that. Could you, we'll talk about how to cross promote your videos to get higher views with other platforms, and we will talk about Google. But to keep everything simple right now, and I believe a couple of you are like heavy into TikTok, or heavy into Reels, everything we're discussing. If you're already mid-marathon with one of those, keep going. Any of you who are not, YouTube is the best place to start. Because Google owns it and it is now the #2 largest search engine. Do you guys understand even what I mean about algorithm and why that's important?
Well, that somehow is what makes the things go around in the searching for people.
That's right. Yeah, and it's how you will eventually, you will. So, just had an example last week. I was talking to a coach friend on my phone. She brought up a dress that she was thinking about buying on JJ's house, which I've never heard of. I've never shopped there. I had no idea what it was. She sent me a link by text on my phone for a dress she liked from JJ's house, and I looked at it. Within 15 minutes, we got off the phone. I went on YouTube. Guess what ad showed up and played in front of the video I was going to watch?
Yeah, that is scary.
JJ's house showed up. I was like, what the hell? I called. It's like, okay, now you've got this store is now marketing to me. That's a very high end. There's obviously other marketing and geofencing or things going on with what they're doing. But that's a great example of when you learn how to stimulate the algorithm, you're going to be showing up and people are either thinking about or doing searches about moving to your area or selling their house. You'll start to show up and you stimulate, satisfy the algorithm by being a satisfying experience for people that click on your content. We will go into that more. And if any of you want to stay after for a few minutes, we can discuss it more. But this is the trick to all of it. You could have the absolute best videos, most beautiful, most poised, best hair, stellar makeup, no no mistakes. It could be perfection. If you are not properly loading content that is desired, and you're not properly launching it out into the world in a way that will be satisfying to the algorithm, very few people to no one will see it. And I know of channels, I can give examples of channels with great thumbnails, great content, great video. They're tagged, they're doing all this, but they're just missing a few key elements to stimulate the algorithm, and they just get two views per video. Someone just asked, should we post a particular time of day? We're going to go over that later. That is going to vary depending on your platform. And there's some tools out there that will give you AI in terms of when to post. It will also vary depending on your particular viewers. So for example, if your main viewers are firefighters or doctors, it's probably going to have a different ideal launch time than someone that has predominantly teachers and CPAs, right? So what's going to happen is as you learn how to read the data and stats channel, you will actually know because you're going to watch the stats for each video launched, and you're going to know that it's time to launch for your audience. Okay. So at the moment, no. moment, you don't even have data to know that. It's every day, it's not days. Then you get critical mass. You should have some information there to make decisions going forward. So we can go to the next one. Interact with each other. So I mentioned this at the very top. So I'm going to take a step back here for a minute. Do you think that on Facebook, you have to be friends with 500 agents?
No,
That's right, you don't. On Facebook, you can only have 5,000 friends for the most part. Would you want to give 10% of that or 25% of that group over to a bunch of agents all around the country or in your market? Maybe not. Is there a time where you might want 500 agents as friends? When would you want 500 agents as Facebook friends?
but you have a new listing.
Maybe. Why else?
Trying to recruit them.
If one of your top 3 sources of business is referrals, then yes, you're going to want those, right? So here's my point with this. With Facebook, that is a business decision you should make. Is whether or not you're going to have a bunch of agents as friends, and it should be based on your main sources of business and whether or not you want a lot of referral business. Why do I mention that? Because some people say, well, I don't want a bunch of other agents on my Facebook. I don't want my Instagram page to just be a bunch of agents. Guess what? On YouTube, it doesn't matter. On YouTube, a subscriber is a subscriber is a subscriber, and you can literally have millions. And the more you have, the better, especially when they're real people. Why do I mention this? All of you, please listen. The last classes I did, and I've even been posting on our Facebook group. I've been putting a channel for you guys to subscribe to every day. And guess what? You guys aren't doing it. And I know it because I look at the channel to see if it's going up, and it's not. So I have to figure out how to convey to you all. Subscribe to the other channels and then go to your subscribers and subscribe to people that subscribe to you. It is part of feeding the algorithm. The engagement. When you like and comment someone else's video, it still counts as you being an active participant in YouTube. All of that adds up in terms of feeding the robot. So I have people that are like, oh, well, I'm going to watch their video, but I'm going to bail out and I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to like it because I don't want that agent to have better algorithm than me. You're not understanding how YouTube works. Please listen to me. So all of you should be subscribed to all of you. And every day when you're drinking your coffee, watch someone's video and make a comment. That actually benefits you. Your activity on there begets activity. So this is not like, and I brought up Facebook first, because there could be some downside in having a ton of agents as friends on Facebook. That's just real, especially depending on how, if you have like a farm or a niche or whatever. This is not like Facebook. Feel free, be supportive. You should be collaborating with each other. Yes, oh, Julia, we're going to be sending out a survey this week of everyone who is participating in the YouTube challenge. You guys can fill that out, put your channel in there, and then you can, that sheet will be shared with everyone who fills it out. And then you can go through and you can subscribe to each person each day. You guys should even be doing videos with each other. You should be seeking each other out. So Anna, you could connect with Julia in Texas, and Julia, you could interview and collaborate with her to a home to feature a listing, and then vice versa. So how many of you are familiar with collaborations on YouTube? Creator collaborations.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm not.
So we're going to go into that. Because it has not worked at the other times I've done this class, I'm actually going to spearhead a collaboration. We are going to start it around week 3, right? So don't sit there and be like, oh no, I'm not going to be ready for the collaboration. Yes, you will, because we're going to do it around week 3. We'll discuss it week 3. We'll launch it week 4.
Is there a chance we can get an email with each other's websites or lists to?
Yes, that's gonna be the survey that's coming out. It'll probably go out tomorrow. And as soon as you fill that in, you'll receive a copy. You're gonna have all of each other's information.
Okay,
Support each other in this, okay? And then also, just like we do on deep dive, so on deep dive, we give constructive feedback and we give positive feedback. So give positive feedback always in the comment you post, it's always positive. And then when you're talking to each other, reach out and be like, hey, you know what, Ebony, I just realized at the round, I kind of lost where you were going around minute 2. So just make sure you're keeping it tight and give constructive feedback too. We're all here to get better. We're not here for people to blow smoke up our skirt and tell us we're great. Right? All right, let's do the next one. All right, so mindset, we've gone over this. It all matters. So if you go into the sand like, oh no, I can't do this. I'm not going to be good. People aren't going to like me. I won't know what to say. Oh my God, people are going to make fun of me. No, they're not. Oh, I might, I'm saying I'm going to do 100, but what if I only do 80? Hooray. Okay, you did 80. That's way more than if you weren't shooting to 100. So just make sure you're keeping your mindset in alignment with you can do this. And if it worked for other people, it can work for you. One of the things you're going to notice when you're looking at the competition, Ken Posick, he's an average looking guy. Doesn't look like fill in the blank to whoever he's most attractive. He's no Jude Law or David Beckham. I mean, he's not like he's gorgeous superstar. It's regular looking man. A lot of the people that are very successful on YouTube are just very average looking people. They have great energy, usually have a good smile. They are consistent. Okay. We know hecklers exist. Do we ignore a block? No. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Unless someone is a spam bot that you're gonna remove, or if somebody puts something that legit has, you would take that out. But even if someone says like, that's stupid, who would live in Virginia? You just leave it there because all press is good press. Every comment's a comment. Every like is a like, frankly. Yeah, the more you watch on YouTube, you'll hear creators say, you know what, if you like this video, smash like. If you didn't like it, smash dislike. All of it helps me because guess what? All of it helps you. So you don't want to delete comments very often because a comment still counts towards your algorithm growth. So if you're thinking about deleting a comment, let me know and we'll look at it. I'll help you figure out how to manage it. You also never want to fight with anyone. So your goal is not to fight. So if they post something nasty, you're going to go in and you're going to be polite or you're going to ignore it. Okay. All right. So next one. And the other thing is you just have to start. Guess what? You all have all the equipment you need. Guess what equipment you need to start?
Cell phone.
Cell phone, thank you. Yes, literally anyone who has I'd even say someone wants to contradict me, but if you have a phone from 2019 or later, or towards now, the camera's blowing. I actually needed to do an equipment upgrade, and I decided to buy a newest generation of the Samsung Android phone because that camera is as good or better than a DSLR that would be $2,500. I was like, well, I'm going to get that instead. So you all have exactly what you need to start. You've got your face, you've got your knowledge, you know where you live, and you've got a cell phone. Just start making it. You cannot wait for everything to be perfect and plan to start. You just have to start now. If you I want all of you to go to Ken Posick's channel and go to his earliest videos he posted. They're nothing to write home about. They're not great. It doesn't matter. You just leave it on there and you keep going. You will get better as you go. Remember, the robot's going to be the main thing, watching what you do right now. So just, you do not wait for perfection. I'll give you an example today. Does my hair look, I wanted it to look to record this, share with everyone today? No. Does my voice sound like my voice? No. Guess what? I'm recording this and it's gonna go out. It just, you've got to just start and you just have to get into action. You just gotta do it. So don't be scared and don't wait till it's all ready. You will get into analysis paralysis. And you'll be like, oh, when I have all my topics, when I have this, when I have a mic with a windbreaker, when I have a lavalier, and no, just start doing it now and just start recording. All right, next. So here's your assignments for this week. Get clear about the audience that you want to build. Write your mission statement for your channel. Commit to a schedule that's realistic for your life and start recording. Pick your start date, how many videos per week. Make a firm commitment to yourself to see it through for the 100 days. Pick your start date. When you pick your start date, you're automatically going to know your end date. If you've got a big week-long vacation in there, feel free to take that out, go an additional week. Guess what's exciting? You can schedule videos to post. So you could actually record a video per day for the whole time you're gone and just schedule and post today while you're gone.
I have a question. I have a lot of videos that I have recorded that are not in YouTube yet. Can they be uploaded to YouTube?
Yes, they can. So let's take a minute and let's talk about some of the least effective videos. Which videos are some of the least effective videos? Would you guess?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
What are some of the least effective videos to post?
The least effective, maybe about an open house and stuff like that, but the other ones are more general.
Yeah,
I
post
have-
them. So I'm
I
gonna
have-
say, go ahead and post any stockpile videos that you haven't posted yet. So
Mhm.
does anyone know there is a complete done in videos? Does anyone know the worst videos? On a YouTube real estate channel?
Yes,
What is it? Let me get, can someone make some guesses? What do you think is the absolute most least value video to post?
about an award or anything about yourself?
Nope, those are good.
I have no
Come
idea.
on, guys. Okay, so what videos get the least views on a real estate channel?
Education,
Someone guess. What?
educational,
Nope.
Home tours.
Home tours. Thank you. Home tours. Blah. On
Oh.
the YouTube, they get little to no views. And if you look at the channels that are successfully creating actual leads that purchase, very few home tours. So for the sake of an emergency day, where you literally can't talk and you don't have a video to post, could you grab a house tour from a listing you had 2 years ago and pop it in there? Yes. Could you say that you satisfied your 100 videos in 100 days? Yes. Is that video going to help you in any way? No. And I want to make sure, let me see. Let's do a quick show of hands. How many of you understand that video tours are like not going to get views? Should I? Guys, you guys are off the video. Or you can put in the chat. I just want to make sure everyone knows. If you're sitting there thinking, man, I got 50 house tours. I got half of this in the bag. How many of you are thinking that?
We used to do house tours all the time, and then I looked at my stats on YouTube and maybe 5 or 10 at the most. So yeah, so I quit doing them.
Yeah, they don't work. And especially the pan and scan house tours and photos. Music over top or a voiceover. Again, it's something that you're doing to satisfy a seller. It's not something that is going to sell the house, and it's not something that is going to create engagement or stimulate the algorithm. In fact, I meant what I said. Could you technically keep your commitment by posting a house tour as one of your 100 days? Yes. It could actually damage you in the algorithm. It's when you have content that people, if you launch content and it gets no attention, it's negative algorithm. To the point where don't coach them. But I know some people want to get leads for real estate. So they actually have a separate YouTube channel just for their home tours because they don't want that to detract from the leads that they will get on their YouTube channel. By the way, I'm not saying to do that, I'm saying people have carried it to that level. So let's jump in. Ruby, if you could share one more time, I think it just goes to questions. So let's take a minute. Are there any questions right now? Can you reshare that final screen? Is everyone clear on your goals for the